Hello there, Carrie Rhodes here. Welcome back to my paper crafting YouTube channel. Today I am making a circle-shaped card that is a shaker, and it is a Melty snowman. This is a new die set from Trinity Stamps, one of 3 new die sets that are made to coordinate with their circle shaped card. So I'm very excited to be sharing these with you, part of their latest release. This is the original circle shaped card die set that I'm showing you here. It cuts your cardstock into a circle-shaped card, and you can make it into a donut. I'm also going to be using this add-on, which is the UFO add-on, where it looks like you're looking at a UFO from the top down. I have done a card with that before, but I like the circles in this die set to pair with the circle shaker frame. This is just like a 1/16 of an inch smaller than the actual circle shaped card. And then this piece I'm showing you here is a circle shaker pouch that is also available at the Trinity Stamps shop. The smaller circle in that UFO set is going to be the head of my snowman. But if you don't have those, you can use a layering circle set. You might have one in your stash. If not, there's the one I like. Also from Trinity Stamps, there's almost 50 dies between the two sets, so I love it. So what I'm doing here is adding a little bit of color in Tumbled Glass Distress Oxide with my Shading Sidekick brush and just giving it a little hint of color. I like that light blue on the edge of my snowman, and it's just gonna add up that little bit of dimension that color can add to the edge of your die cuts, which I love, and it kind of gives it a center highlight as well. Now for the head, I'm gonna do a little bit of cutting around the edge to kind of make this look more like a rough snowball than just a perfect circular shape. And besides that, I'm making a Melty snowman. I showed you at the very beginning of the video the Snowman Parts die set, which is made so that you can make a melting snowman like I'm making today, or you can make a regular snowman, and it's that look that is from the top down. Okay, so now we've got our parts and pieces. I'm going to make my own shaker mix using some embellishments from the Trinity Stamps shop. So I've got some shaker pop beads that are like iridescent and clear, and then I've got this snowflake confetti mix. I think it's called Blizzard Snowflake Confetti, and then I've got these white snowflakes. So I'm just mixing these 3 things together. Then I'm going to have a different size snowflakes, different colored snowflakes, and different shape and look in those shaker pop beads. So now it's time to put our shaker all together now that we have all the elements. So on the back side of my largest circle, I'm adding rip and stick tape. It's 1/4 of an inch thick. And then I'll need to remove this protective barrier off of the circle shaker frame before I add the circle. Now the frame itself, the shaker pouch, I mean, is actually 4 1/4 inches. So my circle is a little bit smaller than that edge once the tabs are folded in, and I find that this helps it to lay flatter once everything's put together, to have just a hair smaller. So what I'm doing now is folding in all those tabs onto that double-sided tape, and I like to fold like north, south, east, and west first, and then fold everything in, leaving a small opening for me to pour my shaker mix in from my tidy tray. And that is a nice way to add those in if you have a little container to pour them in, which I use my little tray all the time for shaker cards like this. Then I can ultimately fold in those last tabs there to make my shaker. This is so cute. And you could do this with so many of Trinity Stamps add-on dies for the circle shaped card, because this pouch is made exactly for this card. So now I'm using my crease tool there. This is the Teflon crease tool to really help those tabs adhere down and be nice and folded, so they're going to stay stuck in place. So there's my shaker. It's looking good, and now we're going to adhere this onto our card. Now some places you can see that circle shape card wants to curve up. So what I'm doing is just trying to kind of curve it the other way. And then to adhere this down, I'm doing the exact same thing as I did to adhere the 2 pieces together, and that's use the rip and stick tape. So I went all the way around the edge, added some to the middle, and because this edge of this card tends to want to curve up just a little bit, I actually am adding 2 layers of the rip and stick tape to make it a little bit thicker. So you don't have to do this step, but I find it really helpful. And speaking of good adhesion, I added a little bit of liquid glue. That really helps me if I need to move this, if I don't get it on there just right. So I did that. Plus, I really want things to stick down well and not come up later. And sometimes in the dry climate of Idaho, where I live, things can come apart later, but liquid glue gives me that assurance that it's going to stay down. Okay, for that cute little head that I made, I'm actually going to add this on with foam squares, and that's very intentional. It just gives that little bit of dimension and helps this not look so flat. And I think it really is magical just to have that foam there. All right, for the snowman itself, I'm putting all those snowman parts together. So the hat is actually 2 pieces. There's an extra piece for the brim of the hat, and I love that because it gives it a little bit of dimension. Then we have the hat band, which I stuck on in red, and there's little die cuts for the eyes. They're so cute because they're not perfectly circle. And then this is the mouth, like if you want to make a melting snowman where he's saying like, ah, I'm melting, you know, that's the mouth you want. But there's also a smile if you'd rather have a smile. So I tried to put my pieces on a little bit wonky because he's melting, so it's not going to be a perfectly symmetrical face, right? All right, so for the scarf here, the scarf is, you know, like not around his neck. It's fallen off. It's melting. So that's why it's straight. So I am going to glue this down right to my card, and I also cut it from red. So I now have pieces I can puzzle piece together to make this a red and green scarf. So I have not yet stuck down my head, and that also is intentional because sometimes I need to lay it down to eyeball where things are going to go, and I will often do that and then stick it in at the very end when I know like exactly where I want things to go. So my scarf is done, and now I am ready to go ahead and stick the head down. A lot of times with my circle shaped cards, I will open it so I can see that fold in the card, so I know I'm getting things on straight or how I want them to go. So here's the little twig arms. I did cut these with rip and stick sheets attached to the cardstock, and then once I die cut them, it enabled them to work like a sticker would and stick down very nicely to my card. So that's an option when you're using pieces, die cut pieces on top of a window sheet. So very handy. All right, so there's my melty snowman. So cute. I have a few little things to kind of bring this to life. And the first one is embellishment, because embellishments are life. This is one of my favorite embellishments. I'm going to link all of them for you below because a lot of times when I get them as a member of the Trinity Stamps design team, they don't have names on them. So I often forget the names. But I'll link them for you in the description box. But this has holly and berries and also some tiny little trees in it. So I think it's a pretty cute mix. I actually use it a lot. I love to add a little bit of berries and holly onto things during the holiday season. Okay, this is a Sharpie pen that is like a paint pen, and I'm using this because the black cardstock that I used is a glossy black, and then I can add my white highlights, which I would normally do with a white gel pen, but it works on my glossy paper, it works on my clay elements, it works on this carrot nose, which by the way I cut from orange craft foam. It works on the actual shaker pocket itself. I put highlights on that, and I just love how this looks. It's almost hard for me to stop using it. And then I wanted a few little pink cheeks, a few, you know, two. Two is usually standard on pink cheeks. So I'm using RV10 for that, just a really light pink. It's whichever light pink I grabbed, really. And then I added some highlights to that. I kind of like the white freckle look on my cheeks, so I oftentimes add those. All right, so there he is, all highlighted. He's got his holly and berries on his hat. But what we are lacking, and what I definitely have to add, is a sentiment. So I typed this up. Some people are worth melting for, which I love the sentiment for a card, and I completely had forgot about it till my friend Lauren Taylor reminded me. So I typed that up myself, and then I printed it out on cardstock and used my nested hearts to cut this out. And I'm going to add a little bit of that same ink around the edge, the glass. yeah, Distress Oxide ink. So it stands out from the white background. And then the confetti snowflakes that I used are going to be great to use on the inside of this card as well because they're completely flat. So I've got a little bit of that shaker mix going on from the inside of the card. That is also what I used on the outside, and I love doing that to make the inside a little bit special. So there is my circle-shaped shaker card that is a melting snowman. Now, also in this release, there's a holiday wreath you can add to the circle-shaped card, and you can turn this circle-shaped card into a snow globe. So I will link all those things for you in the description box below, and I will tell you that this holiday release at Trinity Stamps has been very popular, and a lot of the things have sold out and are on reorder. So if there's something you want that is sold out from the latest release, go ahead and enter your email to be notified when it comes back in stock. I'll be back again soon with another paper crafting video for you. So if you're new to my channel, I would love for you to subscribe. I will see you all again very soon with more crafty goodness. Happy stamping! Bye!